She's asking, what if Russia breaks the ceasefire?
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now?
Unfiltered.
Guys, so listen, MAGA struck again last week with these major misses. So let's dig into each one and unpack the mess. See what the hell has been going on in MAGAville this week. And let's have a little fun along the way too. So hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, guys, and let's go. Mr. Trump, election strategy. I can't say the word strategy. I can only say it slow. Now, sure, he's trending. But you know, being a president is just not being a stand-up comedian. For our comic relief, you are absolutely the #1 trending guy. And looking at, for instance, Biden, to me, that was an absolute snooze fest. But we need more than a stand-up comedian to be in leadership for shock value.
We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what they're doing. Do you understand that?
So they just blocked his big, beautiful bill. The big, beautiful bill of our MAGA people. You know, you can look at this as like you have this big football team, but you always have a referee. Now, you cannot tell me that when you look at a football team, there are these grandiose players with a lot of money and a lot of power. And let's be honest, these grandiose players have a lot more power and a lot more money than these referees. Yet and still, they have to listen to them. So we got our woman here, and her name is Elizabeth McDonough, if I'm correct. Now, she, in my eyes, is this referee. And she blocked this bill because she was like, listen, I'm going to block this. She blocked this bill because I want to make sure that they don't sneak anything else in this bill that undercuts all the rules and regulations set into this bill. Like, she already knew. This is like foreshadowing. You can't trust these people. MAGAs, I'm sorry. The way you got here is very fishy on itself. And you know this. But that's politics. I mean, now with this bill, they wanted to cut taxes for the rich. So that means for all the millionaires and billionaires out there. So basically Trump and his friends, his golfing buddies, and the rest of the regular population, they could just go to hell. That was basically what the bill was. But there was more. There's a lot more in the bill. What was also in the bill that they wanted to throw millions of Americans of health care, but also cutting Medicare and cutting Social Security. People weren't having that. And what they didn't think about, and this is so Trumpish to me, I can already see him with his friends around that table. This is going to be a big and beautiful bill. But then they made all these rules just decked out for them. Did not think that a lot of people that work in your camp, a lot of MAGA people, do not have the money that he has. They need this whole Social Security, Medicare maybe. And now he's cutting it all off. He didn't think about that. So even the MAGA people were like, wait. Who is this for? This bill. Now first they were all with you. They were like, big, beautiful bill. That's all they heard. Big, beautiful, and it's a cult. So allegedly. So they just went for it. But then there were 2 or 3 MAGAs that thought, let's read. And they found out, oh my God, this is not good for us.
By no means is this bill final.
The fate of President Donald Trump's budget bill remains uncertain ahead of today's vote-a-rama in the Senate. Democrats are united in opposition.
A handful of billionaires get a big break, while working people lose their Medicaid, while hungry kids lose access to food funding.
Most Republicans are united in support of the bill.
We have before us today a once-in-a-generation opportunity to deliver legislation to create a safer, stronger, and more prosperous America.
But if more than 3 Republicans oppose the measure, it'll likely fail. Senator Tom Tillis says he'll vote no and retire at the end of his term.
What do I tell 663,000 people in 2 years or 3 years when President Trump breaks his promise by pushing them off of Medicaid because the funding's not there?
Senator Rand Paul says he voted no to a procedural measure because he thinks the bill would add trillions to the deficit.
That doesn't sound at all conservative to me.
Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski wants carve-outs for her state. Maine Senator Susan Collins is signaling she'll propose an amendment, and Senator Josh Hawley says he'll vote yes, but
we can't be cutting health care for working people and for poor people in order to constantly give special tax treatment to corporations.
The MAGA Republicans just coming out of a meeting baffled.
Oh, this is a setback. I mean, I'm not going to play act. I didn't see this one coming.
It tickles me when I look at his face. We did not expect. You can really tell that they don't expect not one no, not one loss. And if you get into a game, that is what your mindset's supposed to be. You go for the win. That Elizabeth, she put them on pause for a minute. Let's see how this is going to unfold. Then we also have the removing of the birthright citizenship.
Ending birthright citizenship, which now comes to the fore. That was meant for the babies of slaves. It wasn't meant for people trying to scam the system and come into the country on a vacation.
I'm already kind of biased because me and Carrot Man, we don't mesh well. So the way he said it, it just irked me. Some kind of way I can understand this rule. There's a lot of people that go on vacation to the U.S. on purpose and have their baby there. I've seen it. I've seen them saying it even. And I was like, how do you gonna put it in a vlog? I couldn't believe. So Trump has had a win when it comes to the Supreme Court ruling. They ruled on the fact that it's going to be harder to block the president's decisions by court judges.
It was a disaster where somebody from a certain location in a very liberal state or a liberal judge or a liberal group of judges could tie up a whole country for years because their decision would sometimes take years to overturn. We've overturned many of the decisions, but it would take years to do it. And we have to act quickly when it comes to illegal immigration. We have murderers, killers, we have drug dealers, we have what they've allowed to come into our country. It should never be forgotten. It should never be forgotten what they've done to our country. And we have to be able to act very quickly, and we're going to do that.
For President Trump, this was a great win because that means that all these other policies, talking about transgenders, not being able to get certain funds from the government to have operations and all sorts of policies that he put into place, he could get them through easier.
Yes, so birthright citizenship will be decided in October in the next session by the Supreme Court, unless it comes down in the next few minutes. I guess it could come down. I think they're still deliberating right now on some cases. As you heard, we just got transgender books, which is a huge win. But most likely, that will be decided in October in the next session. However, it indirectly impacts us because, as you correctly pointed out, if there's a birthright citizenship case in Oregon, it will only affect the plaintiff in Oregon, not the entire country.
The reason why I feel like this birthright, it doesn't really give me a whole lot of alarm bells yet, is because when, lawyers and all types of groups that get women together that, let's say, had their baby in the last 3 months or maybe in the last year, if they can get a group of women like that together, these women not having the sufficient papers, but they're about to deliver or have delivered in the last year, you have a class action lawsuit because you have a group of women. Now, if you have that class, that group of women, when you issue that suit, these women automatically become protected by the injunction that is issued. You can already see that there's a lot of lawsuits already been put into place, already filed. So for now, I don't see any problems with it. And the people that already gave birth, they already gave birth. So, that's a whole nother thing. The people are registered, the people are here. For now, relax. But don't relax too much because you got to keep a good eye on this one because they could write something in between. You already know that. And then we have the TPS and Haitian status. This one got me.
The Department of Homeland Security saying this decision restores integrity in our immigration system and ensures that temporary protective status is actually temporary. The environmental situation in Haiti has improved enough that it is safe for Haitian citizens to return home.
That's a laughable statement if it weren't so serious.
Gypsy Metellus is executive director of Saint Law Haitian Neighborhood Center in North Miami.
You've got gang control of over 90% of the country.
Activists opposing the Trump administration's move to end TPS for Haitians say the country is still in a state of dangerous chaos.
You've got a pending hunger crisis. You've got rape and theft and violence.
The State Department currently has a level 4 advisory, the highest, against U.S. citizens traveling to Haiti, citing kidnapping, civil unrest, and limited health care.
Why on earth would we want to repatriate people under these circumstances right now.
This is a very sensitive topic, guys. Why is it sensitive? Because there are a lot of Americans, black Americans too, that feel like, listen, I mean, why do we always have to butt in other countries, help other countries, while all the while this country is going to shit? We have a lot of different problems. Why can't we invest in our own country and the other countries fight for their own country? When I heard that at first, I was like, oh, here they go. Then I really had to sit in it and I was like, Dad, you know how you are, look at both sides. As a country or as officials of a country, you have to be able to fight and stand up for your country as well. I know that not all countries have sufficient funds. I mean, look at Ukraine. They need help, but at least put in the effort. There is a lot of violence going on in Haiti. You don't even have to do deep research. Go look at the clips the people put up.
People who live here say they've seen the population sharply increase because of people escaping gang violence in Port-au-Prince. Now, the thought of even more people coming here has one Haitian man very worried.
We got to deal with that gang situation and, you know, humanitarian situation. You know, all those people need food and stuff like that. We don't have that. We don't have health care, all that. When we're going to receive all those people, that's going to be a real problem, I can tell you.
Guys, Haiti is on a travel ban. So now they got to go back to a country that they don't even know anymore. Now, is that your problem? I'm not saying. But to just send them back like that with the kids and everything, it's crazy to me. But anyway, you know what is so weird to me? I do want you to answer me this. How come that the white Europeans that are staying in the U.S. illegally, why aren't they sent back? You know that these people are so courageous that they're doing whole video.
Let's talk about being a white illegal immigrant in America. I was born in America, but my father was not. He was born in Sweden. My parents, when they got married, they came over here legally. My dad got a work visa and then a green card. Eventually, my father lost his job, his green card expires, and he stays in America. My father is now considered an illegal immigrant. My father was arrested multiple times, did drugs, all while not having legal documentation. They never once threatened to deport him. Why? He's white! It's because he's white! Like, y'all, are you not seeing what I'm seeing? If you're a white person talking about, oh no, we're deporting them because they're illegal, you're racist! You're racist!
It's not me, it's not you, she said it. Just being one with the immigrants, saying like, here I am, come get me, kickaboo, I see you. You don't see me. But they're still there, chilling. And you want to tell me it's not about the color of your skin? Hey, guys. The brain, cotton candy in some people's heads. I feel like there's a way to protest against illegal immigrants, but also helping to seek asylum for those in need. Now, I'm not pro illegal immigrants. I'm also not pro sending people back to chaos just for politics. Like, that's just not me. But we'll see how this goes. But my heart goes out to you Haitians, like for real. I hope we can figure something out together, but it looks real bad, real bad. Since we're talking about this whole TPS and protective status, let's talk about our First Lady, our dear precious First Lady, Melania Trump. Because what about you, girl? Why are you still here? Now, are you one of those white immigrants that are just sipping lattes and just really doing like a fire dance and just being like Miss Bennett and I ain't in it? Like, what is going on, girl? Why are you still here? That's what I want to know. But leave it up to our girl. I thought it was it Jasmine Crockett that said something about she got her together? I don't know if it was her though. I'm doubting it now. But anyway, watch.
My Republican colleagues want to restore integrity and security in the visa process is actually a joke. Let me be clear. Integrity is not snatching lawful visa holders off the streets and throwing them into unmarked vans. Integrity is not revoking visas based on social media posts that hurt somebody's little feelings. And since we're talking about integrity, I'm confused as to why my Republican colleagues aren't talking about the lack of integrity when it comes to the president's family's visas. Let me remind y'all that Melania, the First Lady, a model, and when I say model, I'm not talking about Tyra Banks, Cindy Crawford, or Naomi Campbell level, applied for and was given an EB-1 visa. And what's that stands for is an Einstein visa. Now, y'all that don't know, let me tell you how you receive an Einstein visa. You're supposed to have some sort of significant achievement, like being awarded a Nobel Peace Prize or a Pulitzer, being an Olympic medalist, or having other sustained extraordinary abilities and success in sciences, arts, education, business, or athletics. Last time I checked, The First Lady had none of those accolades under her belt. It doesn't take an Einstein to see that the math ain't mathin' here. Nevertheless, what Republicans are doing with this reconciliation process, the travel bans and revoking visas jeopardizes our national security.
See what I'm saying, what I found there. And then leave it up to your people, Trumpido, to respond. Now, this was the response of one of your people on this whole reading about the First Lady.
I also want to defend Melania real quick. Not everybody could marry Donald Trump, and I think that's quite an achievement. So I think she deserves credit for that. Nobody up here could have done it.
Guys, if I tell you intelligence, Melania, we're keeping an eye on you. We are keeping an eye on you, girl. If I am there in the States again, I am there fairly often, I'm going to keep my good eye on you. Because the moment we flip the house and the Democrats are in, your ass is gone. Like, I don't know what we're going to do or going to put into place. Going full MAGA mode on your ass in the Democratic House. Did you guys hear about the fake ICE agents? And for this story, I need to take a moment of silence. So listen, there are these fake ICE agents just roaming around the streets, just picking people up, kidnapping people, throwing them in vans. Sometimes they have these self-made outfits, ICE outfits, and here they come. But the self-entitlement, guys, and the stupidity. Did you see this guy calling 911 as an ICE agent while all the while self-reporting yourself? Because now where are you?
Well, I got this Mexican here, and he doesn't have a driver's license.
Okay, is he driving or just walking around, or what's going on that you know he doesn't have a driver's license?
He's driving. He doesn't have a driver's license. Yeah, he's illegal.
Johnson was originally charged with 1 count of felony kidnapping and misdemeanor charges of impersonating a law enforcement officer, larceny, and assault and battery. He turned himself into police Friday night and was taken to the Charleston County Jail, but posted bond over the weekend. The Sullivan's Island Police Department says after continuing its investigation into that viral video, they obtained warrants charging Johnson with 2 more counts of kidnapping. Johnson then turned himself in again this afternoon and was taken back to the Charleston County Jail. Johnson appeared in bond court tonight. He was given a $200,000 surety bond split between those 2 additional charges. The judge ordered standard bond restrictions, which forbid Johnson to contact the victims or travel without 5 blocks of their workplaces, homes, or churches.
That's why I say, MAGAs, your group, when it comes to intelligence, your group is a little bit challenged. I have to say, I saw quite a few challenged people in that group. A few smart ones, but
My question for you, Attorney General Bondi, is given the number of DOJ employees currently conducting immigration enforcement activities in support of DHS, how are you going to ensure that the safety of the public and the officers, if they continue to not follow required protocol to identify themselves as law enforcement?
And Senator Peters, that's the first time that issue has come to me about them. You're saying that law enforcement officers, when they cover their faces. Right. I do know they are being doxxed, as you said. They're being threatened. Their families are being threatened. You know,
Again, I get that. But they have to identify themselves. There is an insignia oftentimes. They have to identify themselves as law enforcement. People think, here's a person coming up to me, not identified, covering themselves. They're kidnapping. They'll probably fight back. That endangers the officer as well. And that's a serious situation. People need to know that they're dealing with a federal law enforcement official.
Senator, I would be happy to look at that issue with you and talk to all of our partner law enforcement agencies. But I can assure you that if they're covering their faces now, it's to protect themselves.
I cannot. Your president.
A lot of really concerning reports, but there are 3 main issues that we are particularly concerned about. First, ICE agents typically show up to a home carrying what's called an administrative ICE warrant, or a warrant for removal or deportation for a particular person. Now, this is confusing because while it does say warrant, it is not a warrant in the sense of allowing officers to enter your home. In order for officers to enter your home without your permission, they need to have a warrant that's signed by a judge. If they say that they do, ask to see it. They could slide it under the door, or they could show it to the window, and you should see, is there a signature from a judge? Does it have my address on it? Does it list the name of someone inside the home? If it does, then the officers can enter your home without your permission. But if it does not, and they only have what's called an ICE warrant, you do not need to let them enter the home.
So this lack of action by the government is a real concern. And then I want to look at the farmers, guys. I talked about this in my last video, or the second to last video. If you haven't seen it, go and watch. But the farmers are just fed up. They took about 8 persons from South Africa to come to the U.S. to help. But from that 8 people, I think 7 people went back.
I wouldn't go back. For $100 an hour job, I wouldn't go back.
We didn't want to come there in the first place. We wanted y'all to help us here. And I know that Americans must be so fed up as a big and powerful country, real patriots, to help everyone. So they were like, nah, you can come here to help us first, and we might do something for you over there. Come and help us with this land. All the farmers are gone. Now the Haitians are going too. Listen, but not only did the South Africa say we're going back, look at what kind of clips they put up. Trolling, where you see oppression, where you see dire straits, the genocide, where? Trump.
So folks, as you may know, a group of Afrikaners, white South Africans have come over to the United States this week, and it's first load of South Africans to assist and help revitalize the farming industry in the United States, and it's quite controversial, as you know. Well, Donald Trump is very disappointed to find out that this group of people who just came over this week actually have no farming experience. They have no knowledge of farming, and none of them actually had farms in South Africa. When they found out that they were actually a collection of security guards, actually part-time rappers, and a guy called Bradley who almost bought a tractor once. So this is obviously a real disappointment, PR exercise failure for the Trump administration.
My God. So that whole plan didn't work. So now you really got to work on that robot that I think Elon Musk is making in order to put it in all the lands to just do the thing automatically, because there are no people, and your people are peeling. They can't work out in the sun. I don't know, but you see them there, say, South Africa, me. People that are in dire straits. It didn't look like it. But then, fam, put in the comments, if you said, Deb, I saw one crying there in the crowd, put it in the comments. I didn't see it.
President Trump insists the U.S. strikes on Iran obliterated its nuclear program. But tonight, sources tell us a preliminary Pentagon report indicates at least 2 of the Iranian nuclear facilities targeted were not completely destroyed, and that Iran's program was only set back a few months.
Iran will never rebuild its nuclear. From there, absolutely not. That place is under rock.
But sources say the preliminary report from the Defense Intelligence Agency and U.S. Central Command indicates much of Iran's stockpile of enriched uranium was not destroyed because it was moved before the U.S. struck. The International Atomic Energy Agency has warned nearly 900 pounds of near weapons-grade uranium is unaccounted for. Sources tell us the Pentagon's early intelligence indicates Iran's centrifuges also remain intact. And though the bombing sealed off the entrances to 2 of the nation's nuclear facilities, they did not destroy their underground structures.
So that to me is also a miss. But then if you ask him another question too about this whole bomb.
She's asking, what if Russia breaks the ceasefire?
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now? Okay?
Guys, I have this love-hate relationship with this president because he is so outlandish to me that sometimes I just gravitate towards the stupidity. So this was the whole mayhem of last week. Now, I hope you guys get this video on Sunday. If not, then it's going to be Monday, which will be the beginning of a new week. Room for more foolishness. And we'll see what this next week will bring us. But hold on to your seat. It's ready for takeoff. If we move up in subscribers, I can't wait to do a meet and greet with my peeps over there. Like, I'm going to give a party there in the U.S. Preferably next to Trump, old White House. Because I want to show him what a real party is, since he didn't have one on his birthday. But that's neither here nor there. Guys, I got a lot to tell you guys. There's a lot that you don't know about me. There's a lot that you will never know about me. But you know, I'm unfiltered. I'm going to share quite a lot with y'all. We got to do this. But guys, interact with me. Like, should we do this on live? Should I do like video? Like, You guys are sending me tons and tons of messages, but no answer to this. So I'm wondering, do you even want to know? I don't know. Maybe the mystery of the host. It's nice. Hit that notification bell, guys. Hit a subscribe, hit a like for your girl, and join the fam. Let me know in the comments, guys. See you in the next one. Peace.